was like, whoa.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is presented by Underdog. If you're new to Underdog, get $75 in bonus entries when you play just $5 with code It Is What It Is. So NBA All-Star Weekend tips off tonight, so make sure y'all check out all the picks in the app. Underdog is available right now in most states, including Florida, Texas, and California, just to name a few. So make sure y'all support the show, hit that subscribe button, lock in your bonus, and start playing today with code It Is What It Is. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your host Mace. Cam will be back, and today we are joined with our analyst, Arabia.
Hey everybody, hey Stat. Hi
Mace.
Good, how are you? Stat, I missed you last episode. Mace, you good? How you feel?
I'm feeling good. It's cold out here, but it's cold out here for everybody. How you doing, Stat?
I'm great. I'm not as cold as you, but you bundled up and it looks smooth, so we rocking with it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes. Okay, so we're actually going to start with some football. So Puka Nacua is in talks for a contract extension with projections suggesting a deal that could make him become the highest paid wide receiver. So Arabia, going to ask you first, do you think it's worth it? And then where is he on the rankings for you as far as wide receivers? Like, where do you think he ranks at?
First of all, it's a no-brainer that it's worth it. He was a steal in the draft, but he's more than proven himself, and now you got to pay him. He led the league number 1 in the NFL in receptions, and he was second in receiving yards behind JSN by about 80 yards. So, yeah, you got to pay Puka Nacua off the stat sheet because, football isn't played on the stat sheet. He's good at everything. So you have to pay the man. We don't know how long Matthew Stafford is going to be in the league, hopefully for a while. I would like to see Matthew Stafford in the league for a while, but we don't know how long he has left. He's getting up there in age. And whoever they have at the quarterback position, Puka Nacua is just going to make them better. So as an organization, it would behoove them to pay Puka Nacua. So that's just number one. As far as ranking, so when I was at the Super Bowl media row, like covering and asking all these people questions, I asked Jamar Chase and just a few different people. 4 receivers, 1 has to go. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, and JSN. And 2 people said Puka Nacua. Stephen A. Smith got rid of Puka Nacua, and one other person, I don't remember who it is. But, I mean, to me, Puka Nacua is probably number 2 on that list of the 4 receivers that I just said. I'm putting Jamar Chase at number 1. I mean, he's just that man. So I say Puka Nacua is definitely top 3. He might be number 2 on my list.
Yeah, I was thinking on that list, Jefferson probably would have to go, but who am I? They say I don't know enough of football. I know Chase definitely is not going anywhere, whether you're from Ohio or not. And I would say when it comes to Puka Nacua, what do you mean by he can do everything? Does he park? Does he sell like hamburgers in the stadium? What do you mean by he does everything?
That's a great question. But he does everything. That means that his route running ability is great. His footwork is great. His speed is great. His catch radius is great. He has great hands. He's a hands catcher. He doesn't catch with his body. He has great vision. He has great yards after reception. So as far as a wide receiver goes and the different things and skills that you would like to see out of your wide receiver, Puka Nacua pretty much checks all the boxes.
Yeah, catch with his body was crazy, but these days I'm growing up, but catch with his body was crazy. What do you think, Stat? Do you think catch with the body was crazy, or you're letting this slide? Pause.
I feel like I let a lot of things slide. Pause. That's the thing about me, because catch with his body, that's what he got to do. He got to do what he got to do.
Oh my goodness, Stat. Your level of mediocrity or what you're receiving when it comes to sports this year has been has been bar none. I don't know if you can go any lower, Stat.
It's not mediocrity.
your
I'm just part of that
acceptance rate.
TikTok era. I think a little different. That's all.
Oh yeah, you're part of the TikTok era. Shout out to her CEO McCain, right? McCain is
My
the CEO. of
CEO.
that. Yeah. shout out to your CEO.
Not my CEO.
No, but I would say when it comes to Puka Nacua, that he's definitely number 2 when it comes to wide receivers, right? And I think they not only should they pay him, they might need this. Let me slow down because I'm getting too excited about this. Pause. I think when it comes to Puka Nacua, they definitely have to pay him. They might have to do one of those deals that they did with Kawhi Leonard and find him some money outside of the football field because he's performed that well for this team. You know, other than Matthew Stafford, there's been nobody that has done enough for this team, and they almost came this close to getting to the Super Bowl. And if they would have went to the Super Bowl, I have no choice but to say they would have won it all. You know, if they would have won that game, they would have won it all. So I think when it comes to the Rams, is nobody else they can afford to pay more than him. So with that being stated, they're going in the right direction.
And then one quick thing I do want to bring up, because I know we named Puka and I know we named Jamar, but Justin Jefferson did make a case for himself. So I know he was quoted saying that he still believes he is the number 1 wide receiver. He said, I mean, how am I not? A lot of people base it off of the quarterback play, just different things that really go into my position. Obviously, I've got to rely on and I got to depend on a lot of people in order for me to get that ball. If I don't have an elite quarterback that's throwing me the ball the entire year, then it's a little bit difficult to be in those conversations. But then overall, he said, I think I'm number 1. I think no one in this league can cover me man to man. That's without a doubt. My confidence level will always be high, and I always feel that I'm number 1 in my eyes. So, I mean, period, because you should always think that you're number 1 in your eyes. But what do you guys think about what Justin Jefferson had to say? Does that sway anything, or you're still locked in on y'all's answers?
Yeah, before Arabia, you go. Who are your 4 again? Is Justin Jefferson? Who else? Chase.
So it's Justin Jefferson and JSN. Those 4.
Okay. Give me your ranking 1 through 4. Let me see who your ranking 1 through 4 is.
Okay, so based on this season, not overall, based on this season, I gotta go JSN, Puka, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson in that order. But this goes to his point. Let's not forget who Justin Jefferson is, only because the Vikings quarterback play has been shifty, because JSN had a Sam Darnold who was really delivering the ball, and Puka had Matthew Stafford, and Jamar Chase had Joe Burrow, even though Joe Burrow was injured at some times. But we can't discredit the receiver that Justin Jefferson is, because he can't throw it to himself. So I think he brings up an excellent point where if the quarterback play was better or at least more consistent, we definitely would see more production out of Justin Jefferson.
Oh, I see what's going on. So y'all going new hotness because the Seahawks won it all. Now JSN is at the top. This is crazy.
Here's the thing, though, Mace.
I could have made this up.
Now I gotta quote you, though, because you know how it's always like, "What have you done for me lately?" That doesn't count in this situation.
Yeah, you're right about this. So I'm just acknowledging it. You know, at least with me, I acknowledge it. Everybody else act like they don't do it, but this proves that they does. You know, that they do. That's what I'm saying. You know, when I'm listening to you guys, you're definitely on new hotness. Now JSN is before Jamar Chase. This is wow. This is wow. What's the question again before this?
Yeah, I'm basically, after hearing what Justin Jefferson had to say, he says, look, I think I'm number 1. You have to base it off a quarterback play and all those things that come into play with it. Does that sway maybe your order, or you're still kind of set on like Jamar Chase and Puka are at the top, even though like Arabia did quote JSN, but I'm curious on your thoughts, Mace.
No, I said I had Jefferson last. I did say this. I said this before y'all switched to new hotness. Before you got Arabia in on this new hotness, I had JSN as third, actually. I had him right behind Puka Nacua, and I had Jamar Chase as number one. So I don't think many people would disagree with me. But he didn't sway me just because he pouted as a wide receiver. Wide receivers are always pouting, right? You go back to you can go as far back as you want. They always think they open. They always think they can catch anything anywhere like a cold. You know, this is just how a wide receiver think. They're wired that way. If narcissism was a position, pause, it would be wide receiver.
Fair.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, so I know you're talking about wide receivers pouting, and this can be interpreted any which way. So there's a tweet actually from Puka. So after the Seahawks won, he tweeted Sam Darnold with the laughing emoji. So then Seahawks linebacker Ernest Jones came to his QB's defense, and he said, "Ain't you at home, goofy ass?" So one, Arabia, what do you think about Ernest coming to Sam Darnold's defense? And then how do you feel about Puka's comment, given that obviously they were not in the Super Bowl? What do you think about what he had to say?
Well, I like that Ernest Jones came to Sam Darnold's defense. That's his quarterback, that's his teammate. And, sometimes you can't let people just say whatever online. So I like that he came to his quarterback's defense. Also, Puka Nacua is on this crazy run of just saying things in the public and just saying things on interviews and this and that are like politically incorrect or whatever. So, and I think at one point I saw a video of Puka Nacua and he was drunk. I don't know what he was, but he was wasted getting into the truck. So somebody needs to take that man's phone. Somebody needs to change the password, something. Whoever his PR person is, his agent, his manager, his girlfriend, his mother, his brother, somebody needs to take Puka Nacua's phone and get him some media training. I don't know if players get the right PR training, media training, but he needs it because these last few months have not been good PR for Puka Nacua. And I think in general, it kind of, depending on the player, it could hurt your brand if you keep doing all these outlandish things and saying all these incorrect things. But it depends on what kind of player you are. If you're Antonio Brown, if you're AB, it's great for your brand because that is your brand. People expect you to be outlandish. People expect you to say those things. People love it. But if you're more family oriented, you have all these sponsors and stuff, it could be bad for business. So he just got to be careful.
Yeah, I think he's moving in a new direction. If he's moving in a direction of becoming a bad boy, of becoming outspoken, a lot of people start good and they shift to bad, and that becomes their new image when they make the transition. When people go to, how could I say it? What do they call that? Like a midlife crisis? I don't know if you could have one in football. But it seemed like he's going in that direction where he's just deciding to be something different right now. And I don't know what happened, if it happened in a football field or if it happened at home, but he's definitely slowly becoming a different person. And you said it. A lot of these things don't go with branding when it comes to sponsors. I remember I was telling Mo that he started, trying to cuss like Cam. I said, Mo, you remember you got sponsors, right? and he began to change up because he knows what I was telling him was the truth. Now, when it comes to this Seahawks team, this is a part of why they won the championship. They're playing as a collective unit, and they're not letting you violate nobody, especially Sam Darnold. Like you said, he comes to his defense, and he's letting you know, we're not tolerating that over here. And I love when teams are like that. It shows the unity and it shows the brotherhood that we're not going for it over here. And every time you do that, I think it makes even the player that you're protecting join more in with the force of the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. So I love
Yeah, Mace, that's
Seahawks.
such a great point. That is such a great point because this Ernest Jones tweet is just a microcosm of what the Seahawks defense was all season. They're gonna move as a unit. They're not letting nobody come and violate. They're called the dark side, so he ain't afraid to take it there with you. And that was an excellent point. And I think Puka Nacua said, LOL, Sam Darnold, like the laughing emoji, because he's like, of all quarterbacks, I have Matthew Stafford, the MVP quarterback, and Sam Darnold is the one who kind of moved on and won the Super Bowl. So it was definitely a direct dig at Sam Darnold because he feels like his quarterback should be the one up on that stage, but he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful thing when a quarterback wins that so many people have disregarded. when it comes to Sam Darnold, right? He's standing there like, yeah, you can say what you want, but I'm a champion. You can say what you want, but we won it all. You could say even like how what Cam Newton normally says, he's a player manager. Is he a player manager? He got a Super Bowl ring. Well, some more people need to player manage than trying to go and do too much. 'Cause when I think of all of the football players, especially at quarterback, that does it all, it doesn't seem like they ever really get there. When we speaking about Josh Allen, when we speaking about Lamar Jackson, right? These are guys that could do it all from A to Z. Pause, but they don't end up there. And then you got guys like, the quarterback from San Francisco. Then you got Sam Darnold, and they find themselves right there. So I don't know. Is you really that good if you don't ever make it? Are you really that good if you don't ever win? I don't come from that era. I like people who actually win.
Fair.
Yeah, I think Cam Newton calls them game managers and all that, but
Yeah.
Sam Darnold is the only starting quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl after being with 5+ teams. So he got that trophy when the other ones didn't.
Shout out to him. It's time to have a real
So
conversation about Sam
do you
Darnold.
feel
but-
better that you're a superstar, but you never won, versus being a game manager and you might have 2 Super Bowls? Because
I'd rather have them Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't look at Matthew Stafford as a game manager. He's both. He's both. He's a premier quarterback and he got the ring.
Okay, so I want to ask y'all a little bit more about branding because I think we're seeing a lot of, in particular, social media footage, especially from younger athletes, because we brought up Puka and there was that video of him pretty lit into the car. And I know Mace, you're saying his personality is changing, even though I might have to argue that was always his personality. He's just feeling a little lit right now, so he's been a lot more comfortable showing it. And even seeing players like Cam Scattaboo getting on Twitch, and like we've just seen a lot of players just like showing personality and being vocal. And for some people it's positive and some people it's negative. But what do you guys think is the line between showing personality and not? Because it's kind of shown us a little bit more how those people are, even though for some people they're like, ugh, it's making me not like this person. And for some it is. Do you guys think it's more of a good thing, or do you just think it's best to kind of be quiet until you're seeing some rings and some awards? What do you think, Arabia?
I think no matter what you do, if you're quiet or if you're vocal, people are always going to have something to say, because Micah Parsons had his podcast and people were like, oh, the Cowboys, at the time he was with the Cowboys, are losing, and he's focusing all this time on his podcast and it's a distraction, whatever. But then at the same time, like if they're quiet, then it's like, oh, we never hear from him. He has no personality. He doesn't want to talk to the public. So either way, people are going to have something to say. Most of the time, I feel like it's a good thing that athletes have a voice. And I think this largely is increasing, not just due to social media and internet publicity, but also to NIL and revenue sharing. And you may ask yourself what this has to do with athletes and social media. But for a long time in the NCAA, athletes were not allowed to have income. They weren't allowed to profit off of their name, image, and likeness. And now in the NCAA, things have changed dramatically. So now you see them being able to, make money off of YouTube, make money off of Twitch, and make money off of t-shirts or whatever. So they're like, okay, this is another source of income. I can get publicity. I can get my name out there. I can get some money. So that's just increasing all these other things. So I think it can be a good thing. I think the line is when you're being disrespectful or being offensive. But otherwise, if people don't like you, I mean, that's just something you have to take on the chin, pause, because no matter what you do, some people aren't going to like you.
Yeah, I like that take, Arabia. I actually like that. I think when you go too far is when you mess up the bag. I'll use the bag as the line. When what you're saying begin to affect that bag, that's when you got to decide, are you saying the right things, right? And I don't say this for me. I say this for other people. Like me, I believe I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But I think when it comes to other athletes, especially on the collegiate level, when it starts to affect the money that you can make and the money that you are making, those are 2 different incomes right there. It's future income and steady income. When you're affecting steady income and future income, you got to consider what you're doing, because that's the whole purpose of you having a brand is to make money off the brand. So when that brand becomes compromised through the words you're speaking, unless it's going to lead you to some unforeseen goal, we definitely have to consider that. And I would also go as far as saying that when it comes to this topic, right? When it comes to NILs, just think of all of these years that people haven't been getting money, right? Arabia and Stat. Think of all of the great athletes that could never sell their jersey. I look at this like when weed became legal, everybody that has a weed charge should have those charges removed or
Right.
banished or expunged, whatever word you want to use, because now this is legal. I think the same thing is true with the NILs. If we're now going to let people have money, let Stackhouse own his jersey. Let Michael Jordan own that jersey. Let Fab Five get their banner put back up if that's the case. If we're gonna let everybody have NILs, because we took away a lot of championships, we took a lot of Heismans. What was that? Reggie Bush lost the Heisman because of this. We might need to let Reggie Bush have his Heisman in.
So,
We might.
right. So let me ask y'all this before we move on. I'm just curious because it's also
Wait,
like,
Arabia, what do you think about that? Let's ask Arabia, what do you think about that? Now that we can make money off of as college athletes, how do we justify that with the people who had their banners taken down, such as Fab
I mean,
Five? How
that's
do we justify that with
yeah,
Reggie Bush, Heisman being taken?
that's the thing about being in the forefront and paving the way, is that sometimes you don't benefit directly from the thing you're paving the way from. So if you're like, I'll use the music
Mm,
industry. If you're one of the first to, create a certain type of music, but the industry doesn't really recognize it yet as a really legitimate genre or art or whatever, like you're not getting the awards, but you pave the way for the next generation or the generation after that to start to get recognized. So unfortunately, the Reggie Bushes, the Maurice Clarettes, all these people who weren't benefiting from it did pave the way. And,
mm.
these people aren't going to look back and give them back pay at all just because, they're not going to do that. But I think, legally, they should, because at this point, they're acknowledging that athletes should get paid for their name, image, and likeness, and those guys didn't.
That's how I feel, Stat. That's exactly how I feel. I started the flashy. Now everybody's flashy. The 2 watches, the 2 earrings. I paid the price for it, Stat.
yeah.
When they didn't know what it was, they thought it was weird that you would put diamonds in that whole watch.
Yeah.
Now everybody does it. I'm the Reggie Bush of my era.
A pioneer. But you
The
walked so
singing
everybody
on the
else could
rap.
run, literally.
Yeah, the singing on the raps. They said that was soft. Now everybody does it. I need back pay. Pause. I gotta be paid.
Maybe they'll figure it out. But people be stingy. So we'll see what can come out
Yeah.
of it. But they gotta know where it came from. So real quick before we move on to this next question, just because I also feel like this is all around even just good advice for people getting to the industry or people becoming athletes or whatever career that they want to start. Do you guys see all publicity as good publicity or no? Just curious.
Definitely not.
Okay.
No. So I'm still very new to all this, and I'm still learning. But one thing that I'm learning is to compartmentalize. And Arabia, it is what it is. Arabia is way different than 3-letter network Arabia, which is different than all 32 Arabia. Like, these are 3 different Arabias depending on what platform I'm from, and I'm learning how to separate them because there's some really big deals that are currently on the table for me. But one thing they pointed out was that the brands are more conservative and family oriented, and sometimes I be wilding. Sometimes I cross over when I shouldn't be crossing over. So I just got to keep them separate so that one is over there, one is over there. So not all publicity is good publicity when it's messing with the opportunities.
Yeah. But Mesa, when the money's on the line, it's like, hold up.
PG Arabia from the DMV. Yeah. PG Arabia.
That's crazy because I'm from DC.
What an oxymoron. PG Arabia.
Right.
Listen, that's a great play on words. That's exactly what it is. I was hoping you could go into it, but you shouldn't. This is what I tell Cam when we're off the air. I say, Cam, listen, Arabia, thank you. I'm gonna send you a gift. Maybe not palm trees, but I'm gonna send you something. Yeah,
it is not coming.
I ain't never gonna see that gift.
Stat, there's more. Wait till you see what I've done for Maurice.
No, I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Wait till you see it, Stat. Everybody online, I'm glad you guys have made a fool of yourselves. When you see what I've done for Mo, you're gonna go, wow.
Okay.
Mace, I respect it. I respect it. But what was the question again about?
Yeah, do you see all publicity as good publicity?
Yes, all publicity is not good publicity. Like you making the internet because poop is on the back of your skirt is not good, even though you're viral everywhere, right? This is how people think. People think because you're viral one place that this is actually a good thing. It depends on what you're viral for. Like if you're viral for the truth, that's good. If you're viral for things that go with your brand, that's good. But if you're viral for something that's going to affect your steady income or your future income, steady opportunities or your future opportunities, that's not good. And I think people don't know the difference. They think all publicity is good publicity.
So I just want to be on the other side really quick because I just think it's good conversation and I'm just curious. I know you guys are saying all isn't good, but what about somebody who says, well, Kim Kardashian took an explicit situation and turned it to $1 billion company? Why can't we capitalize of quote unquote bad publicity and turn it around?
Let me go first. Pause on this. Arabia. It was good because she was gonna sell sexy in the future. If she was gonna sell pure in the future, it would be bad. It depends on, like I said, steady income and future income. Yeah, her laying on her belly, doing a bad job moaning. That was, listen, that was.
Sorry.
Yeah, here or there,
You're a funny face.
it didn't look fire. I don't know. Most guys saw it. Arabia, she can't say anything. She's PG Arabia. She can't speak on this. So I got to lead the charge on this, right? Because it was such a bad job, but it was towards being sexy in the future. This is why she could sell Skims. This is why she could sell the sexy looks and all of the things that go with sex appeal, because it went with the future brand. So this was not something that didn't go with the future brand. It actually went with the brand. And
it's so crazy.
Guys like a token, at that time she was a token white girl. She's not a token white girl today, but guys always, see, that's PG.
Yeah.
I'm protecting future earnings and steady income.
Future earnings is crazy, but yeah, I might compromise my future earnings by saying it's crazy that we said Kim Kardashian because we just talked about Reggie Bush, and I was literally about to say we need to give Reggie Bush more flowers than just the Heisman, because Reggie Bush might be the godfather of modern reality television, because without Reggie Bush, is there a Kim Kardashian? And if without that, like, does she make the next leap to Ray J? And without a Ray J, we don't get the tape. And without the tape, we don't get the Kardashians. So Reggie Bush really started the modern wave of reality television, if you want to go back to Inception for real. Back when he was at USC, Natalie Nunn. So come on, we got to give these athletes some of their props for the way they put these women on in industries. Yeah.
Reggie Bush need his back pay. Reggie Bush need his 5%.
Reggie Bush started Skims, if you really think about it.
Oh, he was the actual OG. He needs his percentage.
Reparations for Reggie Bush.
Come on now.
Reparations for Reggie Bush. I'm supporting that. Stat, you supporting it?
We're trying to give everybody the reparations.
Reggie Bush.
This Black History Month.
I support that message. Reparations for Reggie Bush. Yeah, we don't get Kanye without Reggie Bush. We don't get Travis Scott. We don't get Travis Scott.
Exactly. I was gonna say the same thing, Mace. We don't get Travis Scott. We don't get Humphrey. We don't get Lamar Odom. We don't get Tristan. We don't get none of them.
Wait.
He said, I don't know about that.
Going too far now. You talking about Chris Humphrey and Lamar now. She going too crazy. We gotta pull the reins back.
Okay. Okay, my bad. I went.
He said, maybe not that. He said, hold on.
Yeah, we don't get the concert. We don't get that concert without Reggie Bush. That you don't get your sneakers. You don't get Cactus Jack without Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
So I like where we're going today. I like the way we're going today. We're shining light on things we need to shine light on.
Yeah.
I like this today.
It's all connected, though. Like, it might not seem like it, but that's why I started with Puka and then Publicity and where it's going and then the OGs versus the new hotness. Like, it's all connected. So that's why I'm like, the root of it is publicity. Is it good or is it not? But we've seen some people capitalize off of it. Some people don't. But you're saying for certain people, it doesn't work. And for some, it might. To each their own.
No, we're saying if it goes with your future earnings and steady income, then it works. No matter if it's horrible, but it goes with your future earnings. Like if you have a plan in the future to be more horrible than this, then this today, present day horribleness works because you plan on being more horrible in the future. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
what do you think about that, Arabia?
Hey, I completely agree because like you said, the sex tape did, can I say sex? I don't know if I can say that. The tape did great for Kim because it was, it did great for Kim because it was already in line for her brand. So, you know, she was going to be selling it in one way or another anyway. So it was a great launching pad for her career.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. I love
beautiful.
it.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Lovely. Wow. Pioneers all in different fields. We've covered it all. Okay.
Yeah, stat on the left side. You gotta pull your hair down. I don't know how they say it.
Thanks for looking out.
You go.
No, you say you just gotta go.
Yeah,
I appreciate
for your
it.
future earnings. That's for your future earnings.
You said you're put together. You guys stay put together. I appreciate it, Mace. Thanks for looking out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, should the Hall of Fame voting process change? We will discuss what Randy Moss had to say after the break.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free. Why am I here? This woman wanna be free. walk away. I wish somebody told me the rules. Disagreements let her win, and it's cool. Even when I'm right, this ain't about you.
Welcome back. Now let's get into our underdog picks of the day. So we're actually going to do the All-Star Game picks. It's going to be Team Stripes versus Team World. So Team USA actually has two teams, Team Stripes, Team Stars versus Team World, but we're going to do Team Stripes versus World. So they've got Kevin Durant at 4.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Mace?
This is disrespectful. I'm really not liking this. Whoever gave these kind of numbers, unless Kevin Durant is hurt, this is disrespectful, and I don't like it. Of course, Kevin Durant is going to have more than 4 points. But if he's hurt and underdog knows something that we don't know, if they got sources, long as the betting is legal, I'm going to go with Kevin Durant getting higher.
Okay.
And matter of fact, wait. Let Arabia does Cam part so she can mess it up. Go ahead, Arabia.
Wow. First of all, you had no faith in me, and that is so crazy. Off the break is ridiculous. But also, Stat, you said 4.5 points?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if this is indicative of underdog assuming that these stars aren't going to really try too hard or try to get injured, or what the analysis is here. Because, first of all, all-star games and slam dunk contests and all these extracurricular things already don't garner very much attention. So the fact that they're in it, they might not go super hard. But even if Kevin Durant isn't going super hard, he's going to score more than 4.5 points. So I feel like May said, they know something we don't, either because of injury or effort. I'm going higher.
Okay. So if y'all thought the KD points was crazy, wait till you see Jokic. So underdog has Jokic at 4.5 points as well. Mace?
Hey, I think I see what they're doing. They're thinking because this is in LA, the strand of weed is probably crazy. They're thinking these guys is going to be high, I guess. I guess that's what they're thinking right now. There's no way they could say that Kevin Durant is going to have 4 points and then come back with the fact that they think Joker is going to have 4 points, unless they believe that it's just going to be a contact or something that they're going to catch in LA. I don't see why they keep saying 4 points unless they're injured. This is weird.
Okay. Arabia?
I'm going higher.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to say higher too. I mean, I don't understand if, again, they're assuming that these big name players aren't going to really put in a lot of effort. They're just going to go out there, have a good time, go out there so they don't get fined. But I got to go higher.
Okay. And last but not least, we've got Wemby at 8.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Mace?
I'm going to go lower. I think as they doing this the third time, unless this is just a super trick, or underdog got a bunch of money they want to give away. They just want people to win. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're letting people win money so they can figure they're getting easier bets with underdog. I'm going higher. That's it. They're giving the money away.
Okay, so I'm glad that you said higher because I wanted to say lower and I didn't want to copy off of you. 3 in a row with them giving such low, just props. I gotta say, I'm gonna go lower.
Okay. Make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. So Mace, if Arabia's picks are all correct, can we have a bet? Can we do something for that? Does she get a tree?
Yeah, I think she's actually. I'm happy. She's messing Cam rating up, and she's messing Cold Cam
crazy.
up. I'm for it.
I'm
supporting it.
Wow.
I'm supporting it. I'm behind it.
That's terrible.
You never know.
I'm standing side by side with her.
I gotta check.
We need to follow up.
Yes, we do. That's why I'm like, just what if they're all correct? Then what?
Yeah.
If it's all correct, then I'm gonna host all 32. I'm gonna host all
See, that laugh
32.
was loud. That laugh was loud.
I'm coming on all 32 to be the host.
Okay.
Special edition.
All right, bet.
Special edition.
Bet.
Hey,
Post this
welcome
clip.
to all 32.
Post
I'm
this
your
clip.
host for today.
Yep.
Send me my script.
Mason
right
Butler.
Yep.
Send me my
I
script.
like you better off script. I like you better off script. I'm gonna just let you freestyle.
Yeah. Crazy. Okay. So we'll see if that happens.
Crazy.
We'll see if that happens.
It is.
But would love to see it. Okay, so we got a quote from Randy Moss. So after the Hall of Fame votes were revealed and we saw that Bill Belichick got snubbed, Randy Moss said, "One thing about not electing Robert Kraft and not electing Bill Belichick, the one thing that I would talk to all the voters about, I really believe as a football player, if you didn't play it, if you didn't coach it, you shouldn't have a vote. I don't care who you are. I don't care how you feel about it. Like I said, I don't want to take no shine away from the guys elected today, and that's it for me." Arabia, what's your opinion on what Randy Moss had to say?
I 100% agree with Randy Moss. I think that if you have never written a song, been an engineer, produced a song, you shouldn't be able to vote for who gets a Grammy. I think if you've never written a script or acted or produced or directed a film, you shouldn't vote on who gets an Oscar. I think if you've never played football at the highest level, who are you to deny someone into the Hall of Fame when you've never set foot on that field? And to take it a step further, I also think you shouldn't be able to coach if you've never played the game. There are a few coaches who will, there's a thing that's happening in the league right now. It seems like a lot of guys are walking down and playing catch man instead of getting control at the line. And they're letting guys get free release. And I feel like it's a lot of times part of this defensive philosophy to keep everything in front of you and play soft, but everybody can't do that. And sometimes I feel like these defensive philosophies come from coaches who don't know exactly what it's like to be out there. So I think between voting and coaching, you have to have played the game at the highest level to do that. And this is coming from someone who loves analyzing the game, but I have so much respect for the game and its players that I would never have the hubris or ego to say that I'm in a position to vote for guys getting a gold jacket or not. So I think we just got to check ourselves and say that Hall of Fame voting and things like that have to be for the players, by the players.
I gotta spin on that. When I gotta rock side to side when I think of that. Just think of how many people in the NBA that coach that never played. There's even people who have won the championship that have never played. So when we make these comments, these are really interesting comments, and you have the right to feel the way you feel, Arabia. But what do we say to people like that have won an NBA championship and they have never played that game on that level? Where do they get that knowledge from?
I think it's one thing to analyze the game and know the game. And I can't speak to basketball, but I know in football, which is a crazy contact sport, and the way that you see the field is different than the way that you would see the court. I think the vision that you would have as on the sideline as a basketball coach is different than the vision you would have as a football coach on the sideline. Like, it's just it's like kind of apples and oranges. So again, I can't speak to basketball, but as far as football is concerned, I feel like you shouldn't be voting or coaching if you didn't play the game at its highest level.
That's really interesting.
Well, Mace, what do you think?
You know, when white people say that's really interesting, that means they don't agree.
Yeah.
But I like that concept. I just want to study that more, because when I talk, I like to know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take what you're saying on this. I'm going to take what you're saying, because I do think
and again,
it's different.
Yeah, I just think, and again, I'm someone I've never played football. I was taught X's and O's by my mentor who won a Super Bowl and director at IMG Academy and offensive line coach, all that type of stuff. But I would never sit up here and tell someone who actually did play the game what to do in the game. Or, you know what I mean? That's why I reference a Champ Bailey. That's why I reference Matthew G. That's why I have all these people around me to make sure I'm surrounding myself with people who actually do have that firsthand experience. So, you know, you can analyze the game and be part of the game all you want to, but ultimately it's just, you know, it's levels.
So really
So
quick,
you could tell them they're doing a bad job on the basis of what? If you can't really speak into the game, how can you really know they're doing a bad job when you've never
Now
played
you can
or
now you can speak to them doing a good job or a bad job. I just wouldn't tell them what to do. Like I'm not in a put imagine me in a locker room being like, okay, this is what you need to
yeah.
do, da 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 da. Like that's different than being like, okay, after watching this game, he did this well, he didn't do this well, whatever, but actually giving them direction and voting, like those are two totally different things versus analyzing the game.
That's where I'm lost at. I'm lost because if you're saying to say that you could tell somebody, listen to this stat, when they've done a good job or they've done a bad job, then you can vote on if they will be Hall of Fame because Hall of Fame is based on did you do a good enough job? Is that correct or no?
I think that the Hall of Fame should be based on players who know what it's like to be out there week after week, not even just because there are certain things that as an NFL analyst, I don't see all these players I don't see them Monday through Saturday. I see them on Sunday for those 3 hours during the game. I think it should be based on players who know what that's like. I see it from my son's father, but I can't speak to that firsthand experience to know, wow, this person may not have hit all these statistical categories, but it's impressive what they did because at this time, this team was dealing with this, the coach was this, the facility was this, the weather was that. Like culture and experience of the NFL, I think should play a huge part into this voting as well. You can't just look at statistics. You can't just look at numbers and look at games. There's so much more that goes into this game. And I feel like knowing all that firsthand is invaluable as far as voting with these gold jackets.
Okay.
so
I never thought I'll use this, but I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree.
I kind of disagree. Not about voting, and that's
Exactly.
why.
I knew you would.
No, because
That's why I just played good cop.
no,
Go
you
ahead,
know what's
bad cop.
funny? It's like I disagree because of what you just brought up, Mace. Because that's why I was like, that to me.
Exactly.
No, because I'm like, to me, I actually feel like that's a good point because I do think for voting to a certain extent, it's like it's more of like a respect thing. Same way that like I feel like some players don't want certain coaches coaching them if they felt like they haven't won anything. But also at the same time, like when you say certain coaches and they should play at the highest level, and then Mace does bring up something like basketball. I'm like, Eric Spoelstra never played in the NBA, but he got 2 rings. And then like Bill Belichick never, I don't even think he played in the NFL. He only played at college level. So when you see those things, it's like, is that an anomaly or should that be the standard? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hard to put like a label on it.
And he
So
helped create America's team, and he never played. So how do we justify that? That's just a question. I'm not arguing. I just want to know.
No, great question. And when I say play at the highest level, maybe not NFL, but you definitely would have had to play the game. I'll give you an example. I have a son, right? I can tell my son, you're not being responsible. You're not doing these things that a young man can do. But I feel like I can't teach my son how to be a man. Only a man can do that. I can point out the things that he's doing well and that he's not doing well. I can correct him and be like, hey, I don't like that you're not taking out the trash. I don't like that you're, rolling your eyes when you go upstairs. I don't like that you're not cleaning your room or making your bed. But at the end of the day, only a man can teach him how to be a man. So I can analyze what he's doing, but to actually tell him the basis of like the core of why he's doing what he's doing, I can't do that.
I love that. I love that statement because I use that a lot. Only a man can teach a boy how to be a man. So I like that because you're basically saying everybody that haven't played are not men. I love that. I love that.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what I got from it. That's what I heard.
That's what I got from it.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, let's go, Arabia. I love those kind of things. Welcome to my side of sports, where you say whatever the hell you feel like it. Welcome on this side, Arabia.
Said welcome. Okay, good. That was a good conversation, though. We all had different perspectives, and I like hearing kind of everybody's mind, so that was good. Okay, so
yeah, so she's basically saying if you haven't played, you're not a man, and you should have nothing to say. In the words of Arabia.
She said, I did not say that.
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that at all.
That is funny. Okay, so moving along, an unnamed NFL GM relayed the news to a longtime NFL reporter that Maxx Crosby has no intentions of playing for the Raiders again. So obviously some very strong words, especially because I feel like in the media we've heard otherwise from Maxx Crosby, but maybe it's about that time. Things are shifting. Arabia, what do you think of Max's situation, and do you think it's time for him to look elsewhere? Do you think maybe there's some hope for the Raiders? They've got a lot coming that could be exciting.
There are a few reasons why a lot of people have been garnering a lot of attention to this trade situation. Number one, the Raiders GM John Spytek was asked if Maxx Crosby was untouchable. And all he said in response to that was, I love Max. He embodies everything that a Raider is. So people are kind of reading into that and being like, well, he kind of kept that open. He didn't say, no, Maxx Crosby isn't untouchable. He just said, I love Max. So people into the GM's response to that and kind of keeping things open. Another thing is Maxx Crosby said that his priority is playing meaningful football. That doesn't sound like playing for the Raiders. The Raiders haven't played meaningful football in a while, especially over the last couple seasons. Another thing is, if the Raiders are looking to really rebuild and do this this huge overhaul with their team, they have a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, number 1 overall pick. They could plug a lot of holes with the trade capital that they can get with a Maxx Crosby. Now, whoever they get in return, is that person going to be immediately impactful like a Maxx Crosby? Probably not, because Maxx Crosby's ceiling is so high. But it could eventually pay off in the long term. And then also, Maxx Crosby was upset at the end of last season when the Raiders shut him down and said that he couldn't play. I was on the Raiders side on that because they weren't playing for anything and he was dealing with an injury. So there are a few things that people are pointing at. But at the end of the day, I think Maxx Crosby, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, like these edge rushers deserve to be on teams that are contenders, because I want to see these guys deep in the playoffs. So selfishly, I want to see Maxx Crosby go somewhere so we can see him make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, I think what they said was exactly what they were supposed to say. They didn't say anything that made them look like they will be hypocritical in the future, but they also didn't say anything to slander this player. So I think when these type of things are stated, this is exactly what we're talking about. It doesn't affect your steady income, and it's not going to affect your future earnings. That was exactly the way you play it. I don't know if they call that politically correct, but he said what needed to be said. He said he embodies the culture, which says he's speaking well of the player and saying that this person should be a Raider. If we want anybody to be a Raider, this is the level of productivity, and this is the level of moxie we expect from our players. I'm taking on a little Michael Irvin right now. But he's saying, but also we're leaving the window wide open, pause, for if somebody got a brilliant trade. You don't lower a guy's stock while you're trying to trade him. That's just trade 101. I don't see why teams sit players down and say, oh, he got a bad attitude, and then try to trade him. But if you say, this guy is brilliant, this guy is, he embodies the Raider way. Somebody say, well, yeah, well, how much do you want for him? And you can get the max from that kind of marketing share. So I appreciate that.
So just curious, because we've seen, specifically in basketball, like trades happen that we never would have expected to happen. So I guess across all sports and mainly NFL, NBA, do you guys think there are some players who are truly untouchable, like they should never like be traded? Or do you think like at this point, if it needs to happen, it needs to happen?
I thought it was insane.
Go ahead, Arabia.
You go. No. You can go ahead, Mace. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the NBA, every player is tradable, right? It's just at different times in their career. Remember this, and remember I told you this. Every player is tradable. You better believe we're coming into the time where they'll trade LeBron. We never thought we'll see LeBron get traded. We're coming up on a time where that could potentially happen, right? If the Lakers are thinking, oh, he want to go to another team, then they'll first lock him in contract and then trade that contract. Why? So they can get something meaningful back for him. I think that time of thinking, the Joker is not tradable. Not now, but in the future he will be. Stephen Curry is not tradable. Not now. But the way that Golden State front office looks like, it looked like they'll trade Steve Kerr next year if they want to. This is just the type of climate that we're in. And I like that climate. I like when players are movable because it makes players play. I think when players start getting this no trade clause, then they don't really have to perform because they know they can't be traded without their consent. We saw that with Bradley Beal. We saw that in Phoenix. That was a different Bradley Beal. No shot against the DMV. I know he used to play at Washington. I know we got Arabia on here, but you PG-13 now. So I'm not as scared no more.
Yo.
That's crazy because I'm from DC.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I think like every player is tradable, period. It's just whether it's a good idea or not. There's some guys who, when they're in your building, you don't let them go. I thought it was crazy that the Patriots let Tom Brady walk out of that building. Like for me, it's what do you want? What can we do? Is it a money issue? Is it a coaching issue? Is it a front office issue? Is it like, what can we do? Ultimately, if that person wants to leave, they want to leave for whatever reason it is. But certain guys, when they're in the building, you got to take care of them. An example for the Commanders is Tress Way. And I know he's not this crazy skill position, a quarterback or a wide receiver or whatever, but for a long time, he's been our best, most reliable player year after year. We signed him to a little 1-year extension, but for me, it's like, you got to take care of him and make sure he don't leave that building. So everybody is tradable. It's just whether it's a good idea for you to let that person leave the building.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. What can we do to keep you around? People have lost that mentality of working and making sure they appease the people who brought all of the people into the stadium. I think they're definitely losing that.
Yeah.
And you don't recognize how fortunate you are until you got somebody that doesn't do that. And that's in all genres. That's in all levels of sports, in all levels of entertainment. Sometimes you just don't know what you have until you're dealing with something else. And you're like, wow, that person was really gifted.
Yeah.
All good points. But y'all, that is all the time that we have for today. Arabia, it was a pleasure to have you on the show again.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been fun.
Yes.
And remember to use code CAM for my underdog picks. Word to mother.
Yeah.
Make sure you watch out for my next. Yeah, make sure you watch out for my next freestyle. I should have worn my suit and my tie if I knew I was being Cam today. But yeah, to all my females out there, make sure my stuff is ready when I get home. And don't talk to me too much. Don't bother me. And yeah, have the rolls ready when I get up out of here.
That part. And if Cam's picks are correct, we're expecting Miss Cameo on all 32. So
all 32. Everybody in all 32, look forward to me being there if she wins. We gotta see though.
Yes.
We got to see. We got to see. And listen, I'm gonna be very unscripted. I'm gonna keep my side of the bargain. And I like the show because I don't even have to wear a suit. I could come in there and be myself. I really enjoy that.
That part.
Put me down, you know.
Exactly.
Or 32.
That part.
I like PG-13. I don't know which Arabia I like. I like the other Arabia, then I like PG. PG is warming me up a little bit. It's growing.
Which one is PG-13? Is that the one that's like safe, or is that the one that's kind of more out there?
PG-13 is safe. It got to be for kids. That's why it's 13.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know what the rating PG-13 is. So you like safe Arabia. Okay.
Well, he's on the fence.
No. I'm saying I'm warming up to it. I'm saying this is just my first time being around PG-13. So I'm warming up to it. You think this is what Paul George was doing when he picked number 13, PG-13? That was kind of cool. Good branding. I didn't even think of that.
It's all connected. That's what we were saying. It's literally all connected.
We just came full circle.
Yeah. Full circle. We know. We on to him.
He was full of one.
Hilarious. Okay. Well, thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.